Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you're doing great. We're continuing our reading of the Quran, and we were picking up on Maryam, and we left off on number 98. And before we get started, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, 98. But how many countless generations before them have we destroyed? Canst thou find a single one of them now, or hear so much as a whisper of them? And again, you guys asked me what's one of the most favorite themes throughout the Quran that I enjoy, which one always impacts me the most is this one. Oh, because it's just so true. You have Gobekli Tepe, you have the ruins of Babylon, you have Assyria, Acadia, Rome, Greece, Macedonia, even parts of Gaul that were, in Spain and France and those areas. Just so much, right, that is just gone. The Celts, the Druids. I mean, it's astounding. Now we're in Taha, mystic letters TH, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. And then I annotated Taha because I believe some of you said that they're like those are words that not everybody knows the meaning to. So that was very helpful. 52, I underlined nor forget. So he replied, the knowledge of that is with my Lord, duly recorded. My Lord never errs nor forgets. That reminds you of, like, we have a common language saying of an elephant never forgets. But what's an elephant compared to God, right? And never errs, duly recorded. Again, that emphasis on recording. I'm gonna make another annotation because of that on there. 55. From the earth did we create you, and into it shall we return you, and from it shall we bring you out once again. Oh, it's amazing. 58. But we can surely produce magic to match thine, so make a trias between us and thee, which we shall not fail to keep, neither we nor thou, in a place where both shall have even chances. Wow. 63. They said, these two are certainly expert magicians. Their object is to drive you out from your land with their magic, and to do away with your most cherished institutions. Do away with your most cherished institutions. So we're dismantling. 65. They said, O Moses, whether wilt thou that thou throw first, or that we be the first to throw? Ah, yes, when Moses goes against the weird little priest guys of Pharaoh. 77. We sent an inspiration to Moses, travel by night with my servants, and strike a dry path for them through the sea, without fearing of being overtaken by Pharaoh, and without any other fear. Then Pharaoh pursued them with his forces, but the waters completely overwhelmed them and covered them up. Pharaoh led his people astray instead of leading them aright. Again, that's 79. He just... Another emphasis on why you need to pick good leaders, man. And then again, the calf story I underline on 88. I think a lot of people recognize the calf. 114. High above all is Allah, the King, the Truth. Be not in haste with the Quran before its revelation to thee is completed, but say, O my Lord, advance me in knowledge. Exactly, don't be pushy. Don't just rush it. Ask for knowledge, because when you get knowledge, you can understand. 118. There is therein enough provision for thee not to go hungry nor to go naked. 120. But Satan whispered evil to him. He said, O Adam, shall I lead thee to the tree of eternity, and to a kingdom that never decays? In the result they both ate of the tree, and so their nakedness appeared to them. This is, oh yes, and I remember my original thought upon this part was that both ate of the tree, right? It's not this whole emphasis on Eve. They began to sew together for their covering leaves from the garden. Thus did Adam disobey his Lord and allow himself to be seduced. Allowed himself to be seduced. Perfect. See that? Both ate. He allowed himself. Personal accountability, right? But his Lord chose him for his grace. He turned to him and gave him guidance. He said, Get ye down, both of you, altogether, from the garden with enmity one to another. But if, as is sure, there comes to you guidance from me, whosoever follows my guidance will not lose his way, nor fall into misery. Misery. Yeah, misery. Misery. Yeah, okay. Just have sometimes some words are so close that I have to remember if I'm saying them right. But whosoever turns away from my message, verily for him is a life narrowed down. Verily is a life for him narrowed down. Just and we shall raise him up blind on the day of judgment. He will say, O my Lord, why hast thou raised me up blind while I had sight before? Now see, this is also really interesting. Like, you went in one way, you came out another way. A transaction of punishment has already been announced and enacted right when you wake up, right? That is something to think about, because sometimes people think all the suffering will be in this life or it'll be delayed. But clearly, some things will happen right at the get-go. Therefore be patient, 130. Therefore be patient with what they say, and celebrate constantly the praises of thy Lord. Before the rising of the sun and before its setting, yea, celebrate them for part of the hours of the night and at the sides of the day, that thou mayest have spiritual joy. Nor strain thine eyes in longing for the things we have given for enjoyment to parties of them, the splendor of the life of this world through which we test them. But the provision of thy Lord is better and more enduring. See, do not strain your eyes with the important, like the enjoyment of parties, seeing what everyone else is doing. That is a hard thing to do nowadays. Because you can motivate without boasting. I feel like there's a finesse to it, right? Because sometimes I'll get inspired by seeing people do good things. And then other times I get turned off when I feel it's overly polished and scripted. So, again, you can see someone flexing like Mayweather, and you can be like, that's pretty arrogant. But then if you see somebody who is like, she has 5 kids, owns 2 businesses, has a decent stock portfolio, went from rags to riches, and you get to see that she buys herself like a Tesla, right? For me, I'm not gonna be like straining my eyes at what she did. I'll be like, dang man, that's pretty cool. But when it's like Mayweather or someone like that showing me like a $70,000 chain necklace, or just, rims on their car that cost $7,000 each, then that's like, all right, you can get stranger eyes, and then people will look at their bucket, or they take the bus and be like, everyone's got the things that get their eyes, but we gotta do better, right? Now we're in Anbiya, or the prophets. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, Surah 21. Okay. We're on number 7, looks like I annotated. Before thee also the apostles we sent were but men, to whom we granted inspiration. If ye realize this not, ask of those who possess the message. So just men, not demigods, right? Not demigods. Not demigods. I mean, I think this comes from our Irish and Italian and Greek immigrant culture, because when we first came to the United States, the echoes of the past, of divine mixed blood with humans coming down to earth. But again, you can also say this is also a thing to say that Jesus was not a literal demigod, son of God with magic sperm in him, but was a human being who was a martyr for Christians, you could say. But then I understand people say, well, he didn't die. And then some Jewish people say he was uh, a regular person, right? So, and then some people even go as far to say that he was a revolutionary radical. So really depends on what angle you take, but either way, I think it's more healthier to look and more accurate to look at them as human beings who did magnificent things, right? So it's nothing wrong with just being a human, right?